Welcome everyone to this online session brought to you from Sansom Studios. Tonight we present a trio led by Paul Dunmall on saxophones and clarinet, and the trio features Neil Charles on the double bass and Mark Sanders on the drums. Enjoy.
My name's Paul Dunmall. I've been invited here by Tony Dudley Evans to put a group together. I've invited Mark Sanders and Neil Charles, and we've had a wonderful session. Beautiful music, especially this lockdown business. We don't get to play together too much. Well, I haven't anyway. So it's great to play music again after this horrible lockdown stuff. Yes, my trip to America starts with actually joining a thing called Divine Light Mission, which had a young guru, age 14, that taught me meditation and all this sort of stuff, and I was hook, line, sinker involved in it. Lived in an ashram, and then they decided to have a music ashram and get a big band together. And they said, right, we're going to take it to the States. And I went, great. And so we shipped off to the States in 1973. I was part of the mission, but what was great about it is I met many musicians, and our job was to play music 7 days a week. We didn't have days off. We worked 7 days a week. In the morning, you did your own practice. In the afternoon, the saxophone section used to practice our stuff. And in the evening, we did a rehearsal. And that was 7 days a week. It was unbelievable. Didn't think anything of it. And then you had all the meditation and all the other stuff that's involved in. And we had lots of people come out to see us. I mean, Quincy Jones came out, Ray Brown came out, Stevie Wonder's management came out to see us, God knows why. And there was all talk about us going to, I don't know, Las Vegas. But we were a meditation sect. We're supposed to be a spiritual thing, and we were getting drawn into all this. But somebody knew Alice Coltrane and told Alice about the band. She came out and she loved it and said, I want to do music with the band, And I'm in seventh heaven. I don't know, I'm 20 years old. And so she brought all this music out, and we're playing all this, and it was absolutely fantastic. And she played organ with us, and it was really uplifting for me. I mean, really, what can you say? Playing with Alice Coltrane. However, I played with her. I did have a solo, which was quite nice, but to be able to play in front of her. But anyway, that went on. We went to a studio and did record some stuff, but it wasn't released. She ended up using, I think it might have been the record company said they wanted like Jerome Richardson and all the real deal, So she made a record, and I think it was called Eternity. I think that was the name of it. And all that music on there is what we did with her, But anyway, I loved my time with it. It was amazing. And then the Divine Light Mission went a bit weird, and we were kind of drifted away from the ashram and were looking after ourselves. So I had to sort of earn a living, which was a bit of a shock. So I think I joined, I think I was in a rock band. I met this guy, I think I was in a rock band for a while. Then I met a Mexican band. So every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I was playing Mexican music. And me and the trombone player, Tommy Robertson, we were sharing an apartment. And he got a gig with Johnny Guitar Watson, and he said, Johnny wants a saxophone player for 4 days in San Francisco. I think it was $100 a night or something. And I was getting $50 with the Mexicans. And I said, yeah, definitely. Mm. So I met Johnny, and we did the 4 nights, which I loved. He was playing the blues. And I played in rock bands, as a teenager, with everybody playing the blues. But this was something else, He played the blues he's very special. And I just loved it, playing Stormy Monday and all these things. And in the horn section, and he arranged all the horns, and it just sounded great, and I loved it. Then he said, right, I'm making a record. Do you want to be on the record? I said, yep, absolutely. And we recorded Ain't That a Bitch that's 1976. I think I got $500 for that. And that was a gold album. But, well, long story, that carried on. I was playing with Johnny Guitar Watson for a year, touring the States for the year, which was amazing, in a Greyhound bus just for the 6 of us, the band of 6 and Johnny, although he used to fly to gigs. But so he was on the road for months on end, you know, touring around the States. Fantastic. And I met all sorts of musicians. I can't remember them all now, but just so many. And it was, and I was also going to see gigs and stuff as well. And, well, a long story. I was told to leave the America because my business wasn't in order. So I was told to leave. And a European tour come in. Right at that moment, with Johnny Guitar Watson, a month tour. So all that worked perfectly. I came back to the States, came back to England in December 1976. Met my wife in February 1977, and that's the end of that little saga. Well, after that period, that was at a loose end, really. But I was playing folk music with Polly Bolton and Kevin Dempsey. I used to go up there. And then I found some jazz guys, I forget it was students or something. And I started playing with them. And gradually I was starting to listen to the British jazz scene, which I hadn't really listened to. I knew all the Americans. I mean, when I was out in the States, I saw Mingus and Elvin and Roland Carter. I knew all that stuff. So this British stuff was like, European stuff. I thought, what the hell is this? But I heard Louis Maholo's Spirits Rejoice. And that blew me away. I'd never heard music like that. It was different. It was jazz, but it was different. And had Keith Tippett on it, Evan, Kenny Wheeler. And I thought, wow, I like this. This is great. And by that time, I was living in Bristol. And I went down to a gig, and there was Larry Stabbins, Tony Orrell, Paul Anstey. And I went up to him and said, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I spoke to Larry, and I said, who's this guy, Lewis Maholo? And he said, well, I'm in his band. I'm playing a gig next week or whatever. So it was meeting those guys that I gradually got into listening to the British jazz scene and meeting all those guys, going to London, playing with them all. Then I met Keith Tippett and spent several years playing with him. And then Paul Rogers, Tony Levin. I mean, the list is endless, you know. And then one day I was talking with Keith and we talked about a quartet. How about Rogers and Levin? Well, that would be amazing. We decided, yeah, that is... let's go for it. Let's make a quartet. And Keith said, well, I give you my name, musician, which he had for his solo records. And we all went, yeah, that's great. So we took that name, musician, and I think it's one of the most outstanding bands. I'm going to blow my own trumpet here, but I don't care. I think it's one of the most outstanding bands in the history of jazz, wherever you look at it. It was a unique band. It used to go into that lovely swing thing that Lev had, and Rogers could roar that. And it'd go into all the abstraction stuff, you know, with Keith and all sorts of, you know, really out. We covered so much music. And that band lasted for 22 years. And it was some of the highlights of my musical life was playing in that band. And I think more and more about it, how important that group was. And I know Keith and Tony are no longer with us, which is sad. That's life, isn't it? But, you know, that band has been well recorded, and there's a new record coming out shortly. The last studio session we ever recorded back in 2010, just before Tony passed away. Well, I think everybody has a history as a player. Improv musicians are the only ones that go on stage. They haven't got a repertoire. All these other musicians go on stage with the music they know. Improvised musicians, I think, have become a different breed. They walk on and they just improvise, which I think is astounding. I think they've become a new type of musician. But, you know, I've got my history, which is very much involved in jazz and a little bit abstraction, and I explored it a bit. But I found that I wanted to come back a bit. And but Mark's explored it much more than I have, the more freer stuff and more abstractions and electronic music and all that. I've put my toe in, dabbled a bit. But as I've said, you know, I've come back a bit. Mark and Neil have explored all these different things. But we can come together to make music. Any musician that can improvise, like a classical guy or a folk guy, rock guy, whoever, I don't know. But if we come together on stage, we can make music together, if we can improvise. And I've played with many classical guys, and it's fantastic because they've got no jazz history whatsoever. And yet you can hear your bit of Chopin comes in or something, I go, oh, wow. But they can hear my jazz inflections or blues inflections. But I find that astonishing. And I've played with a lot of folk musicians, you know, Simon Tourmay, he plays concertina, he's brilliant, totally brilliant player. But he's down for it, let's do some improvising. So I've had a lot of collaborations with different types of musicians, and I find it very exciting. So I think, to answer your question, really, it doesn't really matter where your history is. You make music together, and you can't not reveal who you are. Your history comes out in your playing, and I think that's the most wonderful way of making music.
Bye.